John Kramer. Yeah. APBT Radio Classic was jumping. Y'all had it jumping earlier. We went and got down to business, We went and took care of that. Now we back, up and running. Call a friend, tell a friend. Friends after that become more friends. And if you're a real man, ain't nothing wrong with practicing lesbianism. Grab a couple of them. But Kramer, hopefully you got your day through. Hopefully you got everything you was handling. I don't know if he didn't just come back or whatever, but you already know he probably gonna drop the link when he gets back. We ran over that lady doll, that lady dragon, that Michael Myers, Team Mike. You know how we go through. But we going up. We going up. Take care of them dogs. And remember, everybody's dogs is welcome. Everybody's dogs is welcome. From the cane corsos to the little runts to the big dogs. Everybody's welcome. APBT Radio serving them another classic. Don't worry about what the next man is doing. Worry about if you can help the man next to you. Because we definitely are on here figuring out some new strategies. We on here figuring out some new literature. You know, and I do have that stuff. That dog anthropology. We're gonna drop that one time. Buck, me and Buck, we're gonna get it together. But we're gonna drop that dog anthropology. It's gonna be so worldwide that everybody needs some of that. It's gonna be real worldwide. Uh, Hopefully, it's coming in October. Hopefully, we're gonna get it together right away. But the commissioner is handling that business. We got Dickie Foster in here. I rock. Respect always. That's what a lot of the game is built off of is respect. That's what most families is built off is respect. These dogs, period, point blank, are the epitome of respect. So we want to make sure that the window and the mirror we looking at gives us that respect back. So respect is where it's due. Hopefully the clergy ain't got too far away from whatever they got to do. It's Sunday, so football was on. Hopefully everybody had a safe football Sunday too. There's a lot of stuff cracking off. A lot of shit crack. Okay, RKBB, run it. We glad you're here to run it. Paul Harris is here to run it. Now you guys know I'm in
What
real
up?
time,
What
so
up? What up? What up?
yeah,
I'm here.
back
Hey,
again.
earlier I was trying to respond. I was getting work calls and all of that.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Right there. There it is. How much Bud Light, baby? I'm sorry, y'all. Now I'm having woman issues. Here's some Bud Light. What's good?
Yeah, that's the
Monte
best
Wallace, what
issues
you
to
what
have.
what you mean? There's a lot going on with the game dog talking. What's really going on? What's going on? Talk to me.
Yeah.
I want to know. You know me. We
Oh
keep
yeah,
this
salute
shit. We
Monte.
keep this shit a buck, man. I rock in the building. Salute, brother. Look,
I
hit the like button. Let's get this algorithm going, man. Let's
Let's
do
get
it.
it popping. Hit the
Let's get it
like
Yeah,
popping,
button.
man.
borderline. We know you in real time over there. We know you in real time.
You know what it is. I rock. What's good? Hey, I'm here now. I'm sorry about earlier. I was trying to
Bank in the
do
motherfucking
work
building.
and all of that. Big bank in the
Yeah.
building. Bank statement. What's good? What's up, Buck, man?
You
Hey,
know
I
how we
think.
do.
Hey, what's good, Wing? I was like,
Man,
man,
greasy corner kid. You already know.
you already know. GCK, baby. The truth. It was the truth.
Yeah,
It's
you know.
I gotta get Cash App. It's in my wallet at the house. Just pay for it, man.
Carry the beer, fucking drive the car.
Not
Because
true.
I can't pay for the beer either.
Just You can't pay for the beer? Oh, we got a problem.
Okay, the chat rocking. The chat already
Hey,
rocking.
what's up, chat? I'm glad y'all showed up.
Oh, mine might be in the
I
other.
hear Buck like, hey man, I was trying to answer Wayne earlier when you was talking to me, but my phone was tripping. I was on work calls and trying to be on at the same time. But what's good, man? I
Man, you got to work. You already know. You know what I'm saying? I know how your real time is really stretched. You
I
know, so
man.
it's good to hear from you.
Oh, for sure, man. I tell you, I got you. We gonna work, man. We gonna work. We gonna work. Here, I pay for my.
Salute, Kramer. What up, brother?
What up? How everybody doing, man?
I got it.
Big Kramer, Big Saul.
Man, we just doing it, man. This is how we do, man. We just get together, man. Look. Hey,
Somebody
they
got some
can't fade
feedback.
it, man. They can't fade it. We still doing numbers. The channel doing numbers. We got the
Of course,
internet going nuts. You know, what's
of
next?
course.
Hey,
Shit, we
man.
taking over the world. Bro. Same thing
What's
Pinky and
next?
the Brain did. We gonna take over the world next.
Hey, Bug, what I tell you, man, just stay focused. Let them haters hate. That mean you doing your job, brother.
Hey, they love
Yeah, but
it.
they love Buck City,
Hey,
Kennels,
boy,
and
I
they
swear.
name. They
I
love
mean,
that motherfucking name.
I'm gonna
I
tell
wish
you, bro.
I
Hey,
was
when they be
popular like
like,
Buck.
from
I
where?
want to be popular like Buck City.
Shit, man. Look,
I,
one thing we gonna do, we gonna keep working. It ain't gonna just be
Absolutely.
all day, baby.
oh,
You know
bank
what I'm
can't hit the
saying?
link. Hold up. Let me
Borderland
get the link.
Kennel is Borderland Kennels ain't stopping. Like Buck ain't stopping. We ain't stopping.
I just want to shout out to all of the low life swampers, though. Salute.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah, I
motherfucking
see the
swamp in the
swampers.
building.
God damn it.
You
My
gotta shout the
soul.
swampers out. Without the swampers, man, hey, you
Wouldn't
know,
have no motherfucking biscuits to cook.
absolutely. Better talk
Let
to
me
him,
get,
Wing.
let me get bank
Hey,
in here.
look, this is what's real. Oh yeah, big bank pulling up. Word up.
Hold up.
Bang.
My bad, yeah, I got a call. But what I was saying, shout out to the swampers, the scumbags,
The
Low
swamp.
low
life
life.
motherfuckers.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Tell
saying?
Low
Low
Kanye to
life
life.
call in.
Motherfucking low
motherfuckers.
life, scumbag swampers. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Shout out to Kanye. If you want to call in, tell Kanye to call in and shit.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's what it
Nigga
is.
don't even
Swampers
you
for
know he
president.
don't even know he wrote a song about us and shit.
You know what
Like,
I'm
hey
saying?
man.
Mm.
Tagged up. Get tagged up. He
On this
tagged
fucking
you.
map.
Gave me the card back at the restaurant.
On the map.
Yeah, man. Look, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Look, and we're
Get
gonna
the
answer some
swamper back.
questions, man. Drop your questions in the chat about anything, bro. It could be about dogs, it could be about whatever. Drop them questions. Let's get it going. We're gonna go around the
Hit that
board.
swamper button, man. Hit that swamper button, man.
Yeah, hit that swamper.
That's
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Hit that fat swamper, man. I'm about to roll up a swamper.
Shit, I done rolled up a swamper.
I wish I was
Man.
rolling a swamper right now, but you know, I gotta work. I
Yeah.
got shit to do
Y'all,
tomorrow. I
Hey,
sleep for 2 days.
get that money on the Sunday.
And then they said they not like us. I'm like, I'm not like y'all. I can't do that.
Melee, what up?
Melee in the building.
May,
yeah, yo.
Ricky Foster, Swamp Life, baby. You already know.
hey, that's a real dude there. Melee. I fucks with May.
All day,
A long
man.
way.
Hey, they was
A
mad
long
about
way.
them super chats earlier, boy.
Oh,
Shit.
man.
Who?
I
Who was
felt
mad
Man,
it.
we
about the
had a
super chat?
I was
motherfucking
like,
super
fuck it,
chat
let's
show,
blow it
boy.
on for the motherfucking cause,
Oh man,
Hold up, hold up.
baby.
Hold up, hold up,
they
hold up,
count
hold up.
five.
Bank. Hey, bank in the motherfucking building. What up? What
Yeah,
up?
yo.
Big
I
bang.
would have,
Who
I would have
counting
do
five?
what it
Bro?
do. How about
Certainly,
Who
them
Man,
counting
sir.
five?
Cowboys? You feel me?
we in here.
Certainly.
Oh, the cowboy. Okay, you guys is looking good. You guys looking good.
Oh
Cowboy.
Yeah,
shit! Here we
yeah.
go. Here we
Yeah.
go with the Cowboys. Here we go.
Hey,
First game
Hey,
of the
man.
Jay.
season.
Hey, man.
Motherfuckers going
Jay,
to the
what up?
Super
Jay,
Bowl.
what up?
No
J83.
cowboy love over here.
What up, y'all?
49ers in the building.
Big
Salute
We
to
J.
champ.
y'all. Salute, Jay.
We
Every time
championship. The
Dallas win their
Cowboy
first
home in the
game,
playoffs.
they
That's
going to the
what
Super Bowl.
that. I
Hey,
know they
Super
is. I
Bowl,
know
bro.
they is, Bank.
They done won the Super Bowl. First game of the season. Boom.
We
You better
going,
hope y'all
Terry. You
don't
ain't see
see us
that?
in the
Hey, I'm
playoffs.
gonna be real humble this year. My team's the Chiefs, though. You know.
Oh man.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Hey, ain't you from I thought you was fucking with Russell. Oh,
Hey,
y'all ain't even
nah,
got
fuck
Russell
Russell.
no more. Who y'all got?
No, Russell
Hey,
is
that
Who
hey
y'all got?
Russell's on
They
camps. He's
sold
on
Russell
Mount
like
Sempmore.
they sold Russell like James Brown, man. He gone.
oh
Russell
man.
Wilson's a bum.
Yeah, he
Gino
was
did
a
good
bum.
today, though.
Yeah,
Hey,
Gino
at
did his
best.
thing.
Yeah,
The
Gino was a good
49ers
third.
took Russell out of the fucking NFC.
Gino was nothing but a fill-in, a filler dog. He was a filler dog.
Nah,
Come on,
Gino
man.
got a nice
Hey,
pedigree,
why
man.
y'all
He
pay
I
Dak
think he
all that
got picked
money?
4th overall.
Who?
He got
Who?
a nice
Why y'all
pedigree.
pay Dak all that money,
Yeah,
Bears?
shit, hey, that year,
Yeah.
no good quarterbacks came
Gino
out
was
that year.
trash. Gino was trash. He'll get in here.
Nothing
Gino,
but a bunch of fillers. Nothing but a bunch of filler quarterbacks, man. Filler dogs. That year.
Yeah,
Who was
yeah.
the first quarterback for?
I
Who
forgot
was
who
the first
came out
quarterback
that year.
that year?
That year
Yeah,
that
we can't
Wilson
act like
came
Gino
out,
wasn't that guy, though, in college,
I
though.
think
He
Cousins
Gino
was.
came
was that
out with
too.
Wilson.
What he doing now? I'm talking shit like my team good and shit, man. We got a
Gino
fair
did
good
pretty good
quarterback.
today. I ain't gonna lie. He had a couple good runs. Gino was looking good.
Man, we
I
got a
think Gino
fairies going
lost a
the
little
ball.
weight. Gino might have lost a couple pounds. He looked a little
I'll tell
faster.
you who wasn't looking good was Deshaun Watson. We had that boy looking like he was ass, boy.
Ain't he coming off an injury?
I don't
He
give a
come off
fuck. He in the
missing the whole
NFL.
season.
Yeah,
Huh?
I don't care if you in the
The first
NFL.
game.
You better show up or show on, nigga.
It's just the first game though. He a playmaker though. He gonna make it happen.
Yeah,
We got a
yeah, it won't be
fairly
against us.
quarterback. My Panthers, man, we look like a fucking high school team. The quarterback, he gay. He fucking a midget. We in bad
Yeah,
shape for the next 10 years, man. We fucked.
yeah, no, y'all is. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
How we not gonna take CJ Stroud, man, and take that dude, man? That like who's making the
And why
decisions?
peep those Vikings, my Vikings, they quarterback, our quarterback got hurt before the season even started. All that money down the
Shit.
drain.
Shit, old boy came in and got them Sam Darnold, Sammy. He came in and did his thing. I put money on them today. I won.
Yeah,
Russell
Sam
Wilson's
did that.
ass was sitting on the sideline injured or some shit. I don't know what happened.
Who?
Russell Wilson,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he probably yeah.
he supposed to play for Pittsburgh and shit. I saw him on the sideline and shit.
Yeah,
yeah.
they had the other cat in.
It's over
Yeah,
for him.
might have hurt his pinky toe. His
It's
pinky toe
over
got
for him.
banged up. He looks soft. Russell Westbrook
His
looked the
15
softest
minutes of
looking
fame is
quarterback
over.
in history. The softest
Jay, is
looking quarterback in league.
Nah, man. We not just gonna do the simp like that. We can't act like when he was with Seattle, he wasn't pretty good when he first
nah, he
got there.
wasn't shit. He
That
wasn't
defense was
shit.
motherfucking
That was the
legendary.
defense, bro. Let's stop. We gotta
Legendary.
stop that.
I know they had a legendary
Legendary.
defense, but he was a step better than like Brad
They had
Johnson
8 Hall of
and
Famers on the
Brad
defense.
Johnson. Who's Brad Johnson? Brad Johnson
I'm
was
talking about
nobody.
They had 8
I'm talking
Hall of
about like
Famers.
teams that had good defenses. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hey
Tampa
man,
and then Trent
Brad
Dilfer.
Johnson,
He was
he
better
was
than them
good.
cats. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was better than them. But that defense was just
Native Gold. Native Gold. What up,
that
brother?
defense was active.
Man, y'all gotta get that coach
That defense
that
was
prop
like
too though.
top
They
5
gotta
all
get
time.
that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was a great defense. He didn't have to do much, but he wasn't like like he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna
he
lose
was
the
better than
game.
Trent Dilfer, of course. Trent
Yeah,
and Brad Johnson, them type motherfuckers, hell yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we
He
don't,
was a little
act like that defense ain't top 5 all time though.
No, it was. It was.
My Panthers, man, we couldn't get past them motherfuckers for shit. I hated going playing up that motherfucker.
My bad. I
It's
got
hard to
another work call,
yeah.
y'all. I'm back, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the swamp.
Calling to go Kennel. Salute. Salute to the motherfucking swamp. Hey, we got a legend in the
Swamp,
building.
baby.
Schoolboy Richard Garcia. What up,
Oh,
schoolboy?
Mr.
Mr.
Garcia.
Garcia here. I'm gonna be
Hey,
quiet
hey,
in
what's
this.
happening? I'm
Salute,
Hey,
what's
What's
Mr.
salute.
happening?
happening
Hope
Garcia.
in this?
everybody's doing good.
Man,
Salute to
we
the
Oh, yeah.
panel in the chat. What we
man,
talking
What you
about
yeah,
today?
doing? What
man,
you
we
I'm
want
doing
to
talking
talk
good,
about it
thanks.
about?
all.
I'm gonna
Man,
listen.
we talking about it all. I told him to just if the chat just want to leave some questions, we'll just go through them and just devour all the questions as they come in. I'm trying to do
Yeah,
some. This
You
is a
cut
chat
out, but
appreciation day.
oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
Oh, you
got
said
it,
I
hell
cut
got it.
yeah.
out.
It's a pleasure to have Borderland and Mr. Garcia on here because I think you guys know about that certain kind of blood. I think you
Okay.
guys, if
Yeah,
we look back, I think you guys got a touch of the same situation somewhere down the line in the pedigree.
Talk about it.
okay.
Talk about
You know what it is,
Yeah,
Garcia. I've been a student, baby.
uh-huh. Remind me what it is because I'm lost right now.
Well,
He talking about that Jeep Red boy,
Okay,
Leo.
yeah,
You know what it
yeah,
is. I've been a student, man.
yeah.
okay, okay. I see
it.
John
Last and
Kramer here.
best.
What's up, John?
Hey,
Hey,
what's going on, Mr. Garcia? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Wee Moon and uh, Borderland. I'm familiar with him too. He's all over the place, man.
hey, man, I try to
Yeah.
keep it quiet and loud at the same time, Mr. Garcia.
Yeah,
Welcome to the
yeah,
swamp.
yeah,
Welcome to the
yeah. That's the
swamp.
Welcome to the swamp.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
used to
Mr.
it.
Garcia, I just want to give you a shout out. Your situation is always, I don't know if people know, but your registration is perfect. It's beautiful. The
Hmm.
good paper.
Hmm. Okay.
Everybody get your
Absolutely.
dogs registered with one of the best ones
Absolutely.
in the game, the ones that
Nice.
put the real law down for the game, and everything was so
Absolutely.
professional. We appreciate it. It
Well,
took
Well,
thank
us
you.
four kennels to get. It took you to get us our four kennels together and finally make some decisions. So we appreciate that.
I got the first
Thank you.
question. I got the first question of the day. First of all, let me say what's
All
up. The
right.
main event, Mark. What up? Monty Wallace. What up? Everybody in the building. Oh man, I see you, brother. Native Gold would like to know, what camp has the best chain weight bulldogs? Because I would like something a little bigger than a classic dog. Than the classic dogs. Got you. So
oh,
he
the
wants
cat.
to know, what dog has some that's throwing them big dogs? Where them big dogs at, y'all? The chat, you guys can answer too.
Hey, I'm gonna
Well,
answer first. I don't
go
know. If
ahead.
it's over 40 pounds, I can't deal with it. I'm a little guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, I'm not up on the current ones that I can speak of about them, but typically some of the Mayday blood is big. Some of the Gary Hammond stuff,
Okay. Okay.
Master of all
the
Bulldog stuff.
yeah,
Sorrel stuff kind of big too,
No
but
problem, Native Gold.
yeah.
I know
Maybe
that Mayday
now,
stuff come
yeah,
in big.
yeah. That's the thing with the bloodlines. There's a wide variety.
What
Some
up?
people
What
kept
up?
them a certain size, like Bulldog Heaven back in the day. He had heavy Eli dogs, heavy Carver dogs. A lot of them were little, 30, 31 pounds, which is not typical for bully son dogs. The Hammond stuff, the Rufus bully son crosses, those were up in the high 40s. Some of them were 55, 58 pounds, like that. But you can have that variety in any blood, but you'd have to, find somebody who likes them bigger dogs, and that's what they breed for, because most people like them smaller. But I know several guys from back in the day that were big guys, over 6 foot tall, 200, 300 pounds. They like the bigger dogs because they don't have to bend down so far to handle them. So they
Yeah,
preferred the bigger dogs, and they were bigger people too. So them little dogs were hard to get a hold of.
yeah,
Hey,
them
Mr.
big
Garcia,
dogs.
have you
Yeah.
ever seen a little small guy, like real small, handle a big dog?
Mm-hmm.
True story.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that big. I'm at the time back in the day, I was about 5'8" and maybe 160 pounds, and I handled Big Red and another one. They were
Big
54
Red.
pounders.
What was his
54.
condition?
Yeah. 54.
54. Dang. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a nice size.
Yeah, you get
Respect.
used to it, and then I had
Yeah.
other ones, here and there, but you kind of get used to it. But I'll tell you what, you'll pay for it when you get older because
Oh,
it tells on
I
your
bet.
shoulders and your back mostly. So we all have a reckoning coming when it comes to that.
Y'all was in there handling horses. Y'all was handling horses up in there.
Yeah, big old dogs, and some of them were screaming, wrestling, trying to get loose,
Oh,
and all that. And you just got to deal with it. You got to learn how to balance yourself and how to position yourself, and
No.
be smooth and fast and all that. It's a lot to it. It's an art, if you want to call it that. There's techniques you can use.
I wanted to ask. Since talking about bigger dogs, I don't know if Borderland can answer this, but you haven't put out any. You stayed under a certain weight always? You've never put out nothing bigger than about 40. Your bitches never give you nothing bigger than what they really are.
Yeah, no, that's a good
Oh,
one.
Borderland. Yeah, he doing something.
That's a good
Yo,
one.
no, I'm here. My bad. Yeah, I was trying to mute it, but I'm listening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Y'all
but you ain't
nah.
asked
never
me a
put out nothing
question.
bigger.
Now, what'd you say?
No, I was just saying you ain't never put out nothing bigger. I remember a couple of the McCollum dogs being a decent size. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? You
yeah,
ain't
yeah.
never put out no anomaly that all of a sudden one of your little bitches put out something thicker and bigger.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But my dogs like now, like back in the day, I had a 49 pounder, and that when I had handled him, his feet would be dragging the ground. What I'm saying?
Oh
So I
yeah.
learned my lesson. you know, I mean, back in the day, historical purposes, when we
Yeah.
would be out in Mexico, you know what I mean, doing our thing. And
Yeah.
dogs, I had a 49 pounder, and he was long, lanky, and a world beater. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
handling him was too much for me. I
Yeah.
learned my lesson and I started going smaller, and that's what we did. But no, McCollum's dogs they will get bigger, but on the average, no more than 40.
Yeah, I had an Aussie Stevens bred dog. He was over 60 pounds on the chain,
Oh my
but he
goodness.
was he was yeah, he was mellow. He was easy to handle.
Oh,
You know,
okay. Well,
if you can lift a sack of dog food with no problem, you can handle almost any dog.
funny
That's
enough, that that 49 pounder, he was a cowboy dog, a beeline champion cowboy dog.
yeah. Yeah, I seen some of them beeline dog, midnight cowboy stuff. They're rough as hell. They were.
We had a big one cross to some of that that Lunsford Russell tramp stuff. He was
Okay.
pretty big, like Native Gold's talking about. I always like that challenge. I've had some pretty big ones in my past. That's not really like the cup of tea, but I think a healthy yard has a small dog and a big dog on it. It just shows the diversity, and then if you're able to capture those traits to make them big and functionable, that's a
Yeah.
good thing. I would love that challenge. Now that he says that, there are people looking for bigger dogs, catch weight, type of dogs, 60, 65, 70-pound dogs on the chain. you know
Yeah.
um yeah, I definitely see if the fellas could cook some of that up, maybe.
Yeah, they're good for hogs too, because if they're good at catching, because they're bigger, and a lot of the hogs are good size.
Right.
They can get up 400. The biggest one I seen was 450 pounds. So, and one dog by himself could handle him, but he was an 80-pound catch dog, 80 something pound catch dog.
We got a question. For the historical times. What finishing style y'all like and why? Anybody can answer or not answer.
I think it's only one finishing style though.
Not this time. Go Cowboys.
I like him to finish in the throat.
In the
There.
throat. That's the only way to finish, right, Mr. Garcia? Wouldn't you
Yeah,
think?
well, it's the best way, the most effective way, the easiest way.
How does Crazy
The dog.
relate? How does prey kill?
What's that?
I say, how does prey kill? Like, something prey on something to kill it.
Well,
That's
it
how they
depends on
finish.
Like a
it depends on
lion
the
or something. You know, they going after the
Yeah,
throat.
yeah.
yeah. And wolves will go to the throat or to the back of the neck. I seen a wolf kill an elk by breaking its neck with one bite, snapping it from the back. Most dogs don't do that, but jaguars will crush the head. Most will go to the throat,
Yeah,
and depending
jaguars.
on
They bite the
Yeah, but
skull.
it just
you
I
remember when I
I
asked you? I
I
said, how would you want somebody to pick up, or would you want some? You remember when
I
I
see
asked
you,
you that
Paul
question?
Harris. What's up, brother?
Or stopping?
yeah.
K-Walk. Paul Harris, what up, brother?
Already.
Yeah. In the throat, you're not going to take a lot of damage. And people that hunt with dogs, especially raccoons, because raccoons will fight, and
What up,
coyotes
Eric?
too. They want them in the throat so they can finish them as fast as they can because they hunt more than one time. They may hunt 2 or 3 times during the day and then take them out the next day and the day after that. So the least damage you can sustain, the better for you. And it's the same with the pit dog back in the day. I like them in the throat because it's hard to get them out. You have no leverage to get them out. All they can do is use their front feet if they're able to. And you don't have to be a real hard biter because if you can't cut them or crush their larynx or whatever, you just choke them. You just hold on till you choke them out. And if they can't breathe, they can't. You ain't gonna survive. It's a very effective hold.
Absolutely.
So I try to keep that in my dogs. There's a
I
ton of
see
different
Melee
ways to
said
do
the
it.
chest.
Yeah.
Melee
And
said the chest.
this is something I talked about too. The dogs know
Come on,
anatomy just
ain't no go
instinctively.
Cowboys over here. 49ers for life. I'm sorry, y'all.
The dogs know anatomy just from instinct. So if anybody from back in the day, if you had a shoulder dog, generally, just speaking generally, they'll hit the left shoulder of their opponent because that's the side the heart is on. They go up into the brisket, they know the lungs and the heart are there. If you fight in foul or you go to the back end, they know if they take that out, the prey or the opponent can't stand up. So they know they have a finishing instinct is not just they're finishing their opponent, but they know where to go and how to do it.
And plus, when you're schooling a dog, you
Preach,
want to make
preach
sure
on
that
them.
you want to make sure when you're schooling something, you want to give it a different look. You don't want to give it the same look. If you got two or three dogs back in the day, I remember
Yeah,
Grandpa making
yeah,
sure go get that other dog real quick, because
yeah,
they're gonna show that dog a different way to get out of a bad situation,
yeah. Well, let's say you can have put it this way, different styles on your yard maybe, or you roll with other people that have different style dogs. But let's say you don't have that. You're limited, right, to your own yard, and there's not a lot of variety on your own yard. All we would do is place the dog in where we want them. And if you do that repeatedly over and over, they'll go to that spot. And if you add a verbal command with it, or snapping of the fingers, or pointing even, eventually the dog will get the idea that he wants to go there. Conversely, the opponent learns how to defend themselves against that. So you want
I want to ask
to
a
expose
question
them
on
to as
that.
much as you'd have to expose them to as much as you can to get that versatility out of them. And some dogs, they don't never learn. They're one single-minded. That's the way they do it, and then you can't teach them shit. But a lot of them you can, and it's just a matter of placing them in that spot.
Wouldn't you want them to learn where they want to go though, Mr. Garcia, instead of trying to put them there? What would be the best? What would you think would be the best way? Would you want them to
My
learn
way.
where they want to?
Depend on who's on the
Yeah,
card. Sometimes you got to know who you about to
my way.
go against.
My way. They're gonna learn on their own, or they're gonna do what they want to do anyways.
Supreme, what up?
But
Right.
it would be akin to somebody, you hand them a rifle, and you give them the rifle, and they learn how to shoot. just through repeated over and over how to shoot. But is it more effective for you to teach them? Line up your sights, point straight, learn the trajectory of the bullet, where it hits, how to shoot, how to hold the gun, keep your mouth open when you shoot, so you don't break your eardrums especially if it's a larger caliber weapon. So they both have their place, and the person shooting the gun, he's gonna pick up stuff on his own. He may shoot with his elbow down, his elbow out. He might like the shotgun on his shoulder or not on his shoulder, especially if he's a smaller person. So it's the same with the dogs. They're gonna learn, or they're gonna have it instinctively in them what they want to do. But anything you can do to help them out, that you'll see what your dog is capable of. How much can he learn on his own? How much can you teach him? What do you expose him to? The more you expose him to, the more opportunity he has to learn to attack and defend. And within that, they learn how to wrestle, and they learn how to, get up from the bottom and all that. I used to take mine and actually throw, especially if it was a bigger dog against a smaller one, I take the bigger one and throw them down and hold them by their back leg and let the smaller one have free shots, right? And see what they're going to do. Or I trip them, knock them off balance, just so they learn to stay focused on what they're doing, even though there's outside interference.
And that's why when you talk, Mr. Garcia, I shut up and listen.
Yeah. It's a lot of it is stuff, they wouldn't teach you, and people didn't do it. But you got to think outside the box. And my thing, like I've said before here and a lot of different places, if you can teach dogs to jump through hoops at a circus, a fire hoop in a circus, or drive a car, or ride a bicycle, or do all these tricks and all that shit, why can't you teach them certain things in the roll pit? That was my way of thinking. If my dad could take dogs and teach them how to work cattle, and teach those same dogs how to run rabbits and squirrels, just with verbal commands and putting them in those positions, you take them to a hole, the dog will start smelling. You encourage it to either dig or wait. They'll sit there and just wait for a squirrel to come out, and then snatch it up.
Mr. Garcia, do you think that's why a lot of the dogs throughout this new history have lost what the family they came from? They're not those kind of dogs anymore because they don't have like that representation you just said. How many people pass that on to their younger generation and said, well, hey, when you grow up, this is what we did, so this is what you do.
Right.
I think
you're exactly right.
Totally lost. We've lost that, So I'm glad that you brought that up. Yeah,
no, you're right. Because that old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, the same thing with the dogs. If you don't get whatever as much as you can out of them, and they don't use certain things, including athleticism and certain instincts, they're going to lose it. It's going to go away. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know why that happens. But at the same time, I don't know the science behind it or why it happens that if you expose dogs to certain things, it becomes part of their nature, part of their genetic makeup. That's why some dogs, they never seen a treadmill, and you throw them up on a treadmill and they run the treadmill like they were born to it. Well, their whole family, all their ancestors, whoever owned them, the competitor or the breeder, he worked his dogs on treadmills. And I got dogs from Bobby Smith. I got dogs from Don Broke, and I got them grown, and they would just do it. I didn't have to teach them. You just throw them up there and they get it and they start running it. But that's what they use mostly for all their dogs, a treadmill. So you can do that with a flirt pole. You can do it with swimming. Some dogs don't like water, and some are just born to it. But if you take all your dogs repeatedly over generations and teach them to swim and expose them to water, they're not going to be afraid of a hose, and they're already going to know how to swim. That's something that has been gone back and forth with, it's not in them. Yeah, it is in them. In my experience, it's in them. So I'm just assuming, because I'm not a scientist, that if you put it in there and you repeat it, whatever it is, over and over, generations and generations, now becomes a part of their genetic makeup. Why do some children look, act just like their father? Why are twins split up and they have the same mannerisms across the country? They were adopted to different families. They talk the same. They don't just look the same. They have use the same verbiage. They have the same tone. So I don't know. There's got to be some science behind it, but we're the scientists when it comes to dogs, because especially pit studies done on them specifically. Over again, you just have to assume what the reason is. If you're putting it in them, it's going to stick with them and it's going to come out. So, with my stuff, I never had a problem teaching mine how to work my keep. They were born to it. So it was never and I started them all when they were little. And a lot of it, they got to see the older dogs do it. So just by watching them, they wanted to do it. Same thing when you got a young pup, I would set them up. When I'm rolling dogs, I'd put them in a kennel and set them up on a bench or a chair, and they could see what the older ones are doing. And they pick up on it. They want to get in there, or they just don't. Sometimes they'll just lay down, or it scares them. Maybe they're too young or whatever. But eventually they'll get the idea and they'll start firing up, and their eyes will light up, and they'll start licking their lips and chewing the candle and all that. They want to get in there too at 3, 4, 5 months old. So like I said, you got to kind of think out of the box. And how does that relate to today? Whatever you're doing with their dogs, show them as early as you can. And whatever exercises you're teaching them, or whatever you want them involved in, even if it's just obedience and house training and how to behave in your house. And maybe you don't want them to bark when they're being fed. My buddy, his whole yard was like that. He had 60 dogs. None of them made a sound, because he taught them from when they were young not to make a bunch of noise to disturb the neighbors. So they wouldn't. He'd be out there feeding, and he'd do one bowl one by one. These dogs had to wait 10, 15 minutes for their food. They didn't make no noise. If they did a little bit, he'd just go, "Hey," and he'd call.
Yeah, you cut out.
I just want to say, fellas, I'm at school.
Yeah, it's cook time. Cook time.
Yeah. So are the dogs? So what he was saying. So the dog is either gonna be born with the traits or it ain't, right? Like how he was saying, like it just come through. So you don't really got to
Yeah.
do nothing. They just
Well,
they gonna do what they do, or you could just enhance what they do.
you're enhancing what they do, and you can teach them some stuff. And like I said, some of them never get it. They just don't. They have their own mindset of how they're going to do things. So you
Mr.
have to.
Garcia,
But
your
what I'm
last
saying is,
video,
if you start them early, teaching them certain things, at the very least, you're going to see early on what they will do and what they won't do. But if you wait till they're 2 years old, that's why you have these dogs that are scared of this and scared of that and won't work a meal and don't do this, because you never showed them nothing. You never exposed them to it.
it's like your video, when you revisited the gameness, you talked about the short
Right.
knife,
Right.
my uncle's like, yep, that's some of these tools that we had when we were young, when I was young, they're not around. And then I show kids some old stuff from the barn, and they're like, what's that? When you brought that up about the short, I was like,
Right.
we don't use the same things we even had back in the day.
That's true.
Let me, let me respond. I feel that the genes are there through whatever breeding, whatever trait you're breeding for. The genes are there. But sometimes people let those genes fall to the wayside because they don't understand the dog. If you understand the dog and what the dog's genes, what genes come forward with the dogs, then you can understand that dog and pull the genes that the traits that you're looking for, because the traits are there when you do the breeding. You know what you're breeding for. Now it depends on the breeder or owner or the handler or whatever, whoever is taking care of the dog, to bring that out of the dog. And that's just
Right.
how I always feel. Because you can breed a dog to this dog, and those two dogs have the traits you want, but you try to force it out of the dog. If you don't force it out of the dog and learn the dog first, then you understand what traits are dominant and what traits are submissive. And traits, that's how traits work. They're either dominant or submissive. So if you want the submissive traits out of that same dog, that the sister or brother might have the dominant side of those traits you want, but you have this dog, the traits are there. It's just that you have to understand how to bring those traits out of that dog. That's just what I wanted to say about the whole thing when it comes to it. Because
Yeah.
I've had it like that. Like I've had dogs that I'm like, oh, this dog isn't the dog I want. But later on, that dog showed me. You know what I mean? I just put him on the back chain, then I like, you know what, I'm gonna go work with this dog. And then that dog became the full package. While other dogs in there had the trait I wanted, but didn't have the traits that I needed. But you know what I'm saying? It's just that
Yeah.
way.
Well, you're right. You're right. And then, that's the expertise of the handler, owner, or breeder is, can he get everything out of the dog that he needs to get? And
Mr. Garcia,
the
you tried,
longer,
but didn't you do that
go
with?
ahead.
You remember when? Can you explain how you did that with Rowdy? Didn't you do the a double back with Rowdy with those two girls? They were
Yeah.
they were
Sisters.
litter mate. Yep, they were
Yeah.
sisters. That's kind of what you heard how Borderline said the traits are there, but it's like how did you choose which one you felt was the more or had the more dominant or showed the traits more? How did you just you just tested it, or you just said let me just breed them both just to make sure, or was that just automatically in your plan?
Yeah. It's one of the techniques that you can use and that I use to determine uh, two or three things. It could be a few things that you're determining. One is you're going to see if the male can produce because you're breeding with two different females, but they're litter mates. You're going to see if the females can produce, and you're also going to see which female can produce better and which mating to that male produces better. So in that case, they both produced good. And because I knew all the dogs, them and the dogs behind them, you get a lot of traits that are the same, and you get a couple of things that are different. Like the buckskin side, which was K, they a little bit more intense. A little bit more rugged. The red side, which Mr. Roddy was red and Bambi was red, those ones were a little bit harder biters, and they weren't destructive like the buckskin ones were, and they're a little bit all around better athlete, and they had more style. Where the buskins one were more straight ahead, get in there and just try and mess you up. So, and within that, then you use the pups off of those and you breed them how you want. Do you want to go with that more intensity, or do you want to go with the more all around athlete? So, and you can do both. It just so happened they both ended up producing good, so I kept them both in my program for and the negatives, like I said, the buckskin ones, those tended to be more destructive, chew their chain, chew their house. So I tried to weed that out by taking the ones that were destructive if I was going to breed them, and not breed them to a destructive type dog. Breed them to one that wasn't that way, and it kind of weeds it out a little bit. Whereas if you breed two destructive dogs, I guarantee you're going to get more destructive dogs. So there's different ways to go about it. I'm going to do a second part I just did mother to son, father to daughter breeding, and I got a second part I'm probably going to do it tomorrow. How to do the techniques and how to breed them, how to continue forward. If you're going to make that a foundation, or you can keep the lines separate, or you can cross them back and forth with each other.
With
You can line breed them, throw a cross in there. Did we cut out?
That was me. I'm sorry.
Oh man. Oh man.
Hey, Buck, let's go over somebody's pedigrees. Everybody in the chat, drop a pedigree for Buck to go over.
He said if the traits aren't prevalent, are you still moving forward with something you
No,
believe is dormant, or letting someone else
no.
raise a particular dog
Yeah,
to
I'm
see
not.
if
I'm not, because I don't like skipping generations. So if they
okay.
don't have it, I'm not going to keep it.
No time for that.
Because if you're skipping generations, you always going to be skipping generation, and that has been done. So you know
Right.
what to expect if you skipping, right? This one's not so good. The next one's going to produce good, but you're doing that repeatedly, and it's not. Especially if you don't have a lot of dogs like I didn't. Every generation has to be proven, because you're only going to keep the best. You have to be very selective, but it'll up the quality of your dogs. You'll have more good ones than bad ones over time. And it's the same thing. If they have a major fault or something that I really don't want in my blood, I'm not going to keep. If it's something minor that I can deal with, or I can kind of weed out over time, then I'll keep them, because they ain't all perfect. They all got some fault. It's all up to the breeder. What do you accept? What do you not accept? And anytime you do your shit, man, it's on you. It's good to hear advice from people, but you don't have to listen to everybody, not even me.
Right.
Have a set of standards, how you want to breed, what you want, what you expect. When you get it, you continue forward. If you don't get it, don't continue forward, because you're always going to be trying to fix something. It's major flaw. That would be my advice.
Yeah, nah, you definitely want to keep because people talk about fixing this or what is it lacking, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I mean, I like to just put two good dogs together. That's
You'll have
I
yeah,
deem a good
you'll have better percentages of doing that, and
right.
you're not just fixing something, you're breaking something too that you got to fix. Why
Exactly.
continue with that? And just keep them if you like them, and if you don't, put them in a home or whatever, but don't breed them. And like I said before, I've competed with some that weren't good enough for breeding. I had fun doing it. I won some, lost some.
Right.
That's the whole reason I got involved with the breed, was to compete. But that doesn't mean I have to breed every one that's a winner or a champion or whatever. If you have one dog out of the litter that's a badass, a champion, but all his litter mates are junk, that's not a good percentage. That's where a lot of times, that's where you hear these people say, well, this grand champion didn't produce and this champion didn't produce. A lot of time, that's why he was the only one, or she was the only one in the litter that worked out. So right there, as far as productivity and passing on traits, your odds go down. And sometimes that one dog can produce. Just run with that.
So let me
So
give you a scenario, Mr. Garcia. I've been wanting to do this since I seen you talk to Mr. Gray. You guys talked about the
okay,
catfish dog. You remember the catfish dog, right?
yeah.
Okay. What would you have if he had been your dog? What what dog? Which way would you have gone with something like that?
Well, being it's a cross, I would just add it to my blood and then see what it throws.
Okay.
As far as other bloods, you know, uh,
Do
Eli,
you think it would have
Bolillo.
ran good with yours? You think it would have ran good?
Yeah, I think so. My stuff probably would have improved it. you know, that's the one thing I can say without bragging, is it helped other people's yards. because I had those high standards. Some of them didn't work out. That's going to happen. But overall, it'll put the punch in there. It'll put the intensity in there. It'll put the drive and the finish. Why? Because the whole family is based on that. So those traits are locked in there. And if it don't work, it don't work. But I would just include it in my stuff as a cross. Maybe I would have got more mouth. Maybe I would have got more game, whatever it was, or just a higher percentage of the traits that I already have.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite interviews with you and Mr. Greg.
Yeah, we're
Wow,
gonna do another
that's
one. We were talking about it. We got to do another one. I just been so busy. Had some family stuff to do,
I
but
think that's the era. Like if you look back at certain time frames, right? When you first got in the game, you got to see some high powered stuff right away.
right off the get.
Yeah, like
And
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to talk down about anybody of the dogs today, but I don't know what caliber anybody could say is top tier besides, I think the Michael Myers is top tier. I think some of those
right,
Cabero dogs, I think that, you know, Borderlands got some
yeah,
great stuff, that Pinalero stuff, the McCullum stuff, all that is great. But when you jumped in, I think it was almost like the competition was so stiff, there was no, oh, you're gonna go wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
is there some position that you can see nowadays that it's like, wow, you were at the there was almost like you either jumped in full or you didn't,
yeah, yeah. In fact, one of my earliest matches, which I lost, was against a guy that had been in the game for years and years, and I was using a first time up dog. He was using a 3-time winner, and my mind was, I didn't care. If you're gonna get in there, you got to get in there. If I lose, I'm gonna learn something, and if I lose, I have to up my game. I got to get better dogs, or get better nutrition, better conditioning, all that stuff. But within all that, what you have to realize is there's different calibers or different levels of dogs. So you have to see a lot of them to know this one's just average, this one's above average, this one's real good, this one's a badass dog. If you don't see all those at different points, you're going to think that this average dog is real good, and they're not. But if that's all you know, that's how you're going to judge your eye. So you have to see, and I saw a dog, I had enough background in conditioning with myself and other people that I could tell if the dog was man, that dog looks like it's in good shape. The weight looks right, the muscle and all that stuff. And other ones that, man, not that good. Their hair don't look right. They're not shiny. They don't have that step to their gait. They don't have that focus. So it's a matter of going through it and learning. You look at them and go, man, that's how I want my dogs to look. That's how I want them to act. Well, how do you get that? Well, that comes with learning or being taught or whatever it is. But there's different levels to it. And there's still great dogs now. That question always comes up. Could those dogs compete with those in the past? Yeah. If they're at that level, of course. Could those dogs in the past, could they compete today? Of course. All things being concerned, taken into account, of course. Why wouldn't they? You might have to, you're going to use maybe different nutrition or different advanced conditioning techniques, but why wouldn't those dogs be able to handle it? Why wouldn't they be able to take advantage of it? The fighting dog is a fighting dog. At what level is he at? That's what matters. And a lot of them guys back in the day, they just had good old horse sense. Everybody was raised with dogs. They generally had different breeds of dogs and mutts and whatever. When animals, whether even people in the city where I live, you could still have livestock here. Some you could still have chickens and goats and pigs in town. You can't have horses or cattle, but And a lot of people are still raised that way. I mean, the Mexicans all over the place. You got chickens all over the place here. Eating chicken, laying hens, and
Not only
game fowl.
Mexicans, I have chickens, Garcia.
Well, that too. You know, you're talking about the knives, right? So the gaff, that's mostly for the South, right? The gaffs. That's where you see it prevalent in the South. Mexico and Arizona, part of Texas and New Mexico and California, that's where you see the Mexican short knife. Even those birds, they're bred for that particular knife. So a gaff fowl may not be good with Mexican short knife, just like a Mexican short knife, he might not be good at the gaffs. It's different breeding, different styles, how they hit, all that stuff.
And see,
It's different.
you saying that you just gave the game to some people. Like, why isn't this working? Or you see, like it's
Yep.
almost like if you're not really grandfathered in, you don't know. Like that Mr. Hyde dog. You know, I don't want to jump subject, but hey, borderline, you get a dog off that Mr. Hyde?
And all the way back.
Yes, I did. And
Okay, that's the Townsend shit. Is
yeah,
that off the Eli?
yeah, Eli Jr. That's Budweiser stuff. He's real tight Budweiser.
No, ain't they? They're
Oh,
kind of
okay.
big, aren't they? Are them some bigger
Niggerino.
dogs?
It's Eli Jr. He's real tight Niggerino.
Hmm.
But
Don't those dogs have some big? They should have been pretty good size though.
oh man, they coming out nice. The pups are. But what happened? Well, what it is that through my line, through Achilles, Grand Champion Rowdy, he's off of Lucifer. So that's a Negrino. So it was a loose line breeding that I brought in. I brought in what when, but hey, they working out. They coming along nicely.
Yeah. Excuse me. You know, I don't wanna bring nothing up you don't want to answer. You already know. You know, we can talk on the back street. You know, my bad.
Hey, yeah, just holler at me. We'll talk about it. You know what it is, Wing. But yeah, no, but hi. And then I also acquired Susie Q, which is Hyde's sister. And she's old, but she's a good one. I think that was a good breeding they did to make them, but the ones off of them are really um worthy. We'll say worthy. They're really worthy.
Yeah.
We'll
You
leave it there.
know what helps with the longevity is the health of the dogs too, and the epigenetic, how they're raised, how they're taken care of, their living quarters.
Most
For
important.
example, when I went to Heinzel's house, all his animals, every one of them, he had racehorses too, and he had goats, he had guinea fowl, he had peacock, all kinds of stuff. Right? They were all in the pit of health. And at that time, that was kind of which was the early '80s, was kind of the downslide of the Heinzel dog because he was inbreeding them too much. He wouldn't really outcross. The only thing he would cross to was the Kobe stuff that John Fonseca had. So they started developing issues, but because of how he fed them and how he raised them, they, that's what gave his blood longevity.
Thing.
Where
Hey,
I've been to other people's yards, famous people's, and their dogs were kept like crap.
Now I hate it worse.
that's the key. Like
Yeah,
dogs, for the first part of their life, the way they're raised determines the way they turn out. Is how I feel.
right.
How do you feel, Mr. Garcia? I'm like, because I
Yeah,
seen
that's
people
it.
just
That's
grab a
everything.
pup, put it on the chain, and it's raised like shit, and then they put the pup out and think the pup is gonna be great. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it doesn't be great because of the fact of it had no upbringing. It doesn't love you. I'm gonna tell you, this is how I feel about it. All my dogs in my yard, they love me. I show up, they like, oh no, it's on. But that's part of them giving me their all. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And if you look at it this way, if you have 100 or 200 or 300 dogs all on one yard, or maybe even with two or three guys, it's hard to put that time and effort into them because there's so many of them. There's not enough time in the day,
Fact.
even if that's all you do, right? You basically what you're gonna do is clean their area, feed them, change their water, pet them for a couple minutes, and then move on. Which is just
That's what I'm saying.
just
You could
do.
have a dog that could be an ace, but if he don't love you, he's not gonna give you your all. He
Right.
might just turn around and run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
there's
There's
a
no.
dog, I will go against the ace that doesn't love their owner. Back in the day, historically speaking, before, I mean, if my with any one of my dogs, because they love me, they not gonna, they know what I want them to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back in the
Yeah.
day,
It makes a big difference. Which
yeah.
in today's world, due to the atmosphere, it's better to have a smaller yard. You can put more time into them. And
100.
I'll go over this tomorrow too. You're not going to make that many breedings, but that's okay. With each generation, you just need one or two breeding. That's all you need. Because people talk about, and I do too. You gotta breed a male to this type of female and that type of female and this that right, a variety to see if they're producing, if they can produce. Well, not really. If it produces for you in one breeding, and that's all you get out of them, and then you breed his sons and his daughters a couple of three times and over a period of years, and you keep doing that over and over, at least in your yard, they're producing for you. And the traits of that male
100.
that you started out with or that female that was your foundation, those traits are in there. You're not going to lose them. You shouldn't lose them. If you lose them, you screwed up. So you better go back one generation and revise it, do something else. But you
But
don't
what
need a whole lot of breedings to have a family of dogs or an effective breeding program.
I, Mr. Garcia, what I've been seeing a lot of, that I think that a lot of people doing, that I think is, I don't say it's wrong, but it's not the way I go. If I look in the background of any great dog, what's happening is that, like, if you go back in the day, it's the females. Everybody's focused on the males and what the males are doing. But to me, you find those good females out of whatever you're breeding or whatever you're doing. The females is the ones, and that's what
Yeah,
you
that's true.
focus on, the females, not the
Right.
male. You bring in a good male to breed to your good female, and then you
Right.
focus on the female side, and that's what I do with my dog.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's all. It's believe me, it's always been that way. They just never said it. They never
right,
told anybody. They
and
didn't
that's
want
what
people
I'm
to know
trying to
that.
tell people.
Yeah. Me
The
too.
the male
Me
is
too.
good. I like the male you chose, but what are you breeding to that male? Because a lot of people messed up, in my opinion, like trying to breeding to the best male out there. You did that, but did you take your best female and
Right.
then did you focus on that female's traits? And that's what it is
Yeah.
when it comes to the end.
And one of the reasons they do that is because they say, okay, I'm breeding the female to this male. Now I'm going to get a bunch of pups off of her. So it really don't matter her quality. But you can't do that over and over just by the simple fact that she can't have a lot of pups.
Exactly.
So if you make her the focus, then every litter you get from her is successful or should be because
And
you're
that's
limited in numbers. The
and
the
that's
female's
why
eggs the female's eggs are dead until a male brings them to life. Males are the ones that make life, and males are the ones that determine the sex of the offspring. The females are the ones that produce that life, and their production is very low because
Yo,
hey, and one of the
because
things that I heard you say that made so much sense to me, Mr. Garcia, is when you said that the females have the most influence on the next generation. And it
yeah,
was
on their pup.
yeah, on their pups. So they have they have the most influence. So why wouldn't that be If I'm gonna
Yeah,
breed one of my female, it's the best female that I think is better than the male I'm breeding to. But I
yeah,
need whatever he has. But that's how I
yeah. No,
focus.
you're right. Just for the simple fact that genetics aside, and now that's changing because it's true that it's 50-50 genetics that,
Right.
50% from the male, 50% from the female that produces the pup. But
Okay, so
the
check it. Wait a
influence
minute.
and,
Yep.
and even the percentages now, science is telling us, no, I think the female influence is 52 or 53% or even higher sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So all
Think
these
the
studies are
female
being
influence
done.
is 100% on the pup, just like with
Yeah,
my. you know.
So let
yeah.
me let me
I
let me
mean,
ask both of you guys on your male sides, and this is for first Borderland. Is it Achilles or Abel? Like this is on your now. This is a hypothetical. Was it
Okay.
Achilles? You know Abel, right? So he coming
Yeah,
off of
Abel was my boy. That was my
yeah.
boy. He was on the yard.
So then, and then Mr. Garcia, are you going Mr. Rowdy or are you going Big Red? You know, are these questions that we should have asked, or is it okay to ask that if you
Yeah.
yeah,
guys are saying is okay? So if that
yeah.
that route is
So,
put in front of
so
you,
Right.
right.
Let me
As
tell you
far as
why it would be Abel. I'm gonna tell you, like Achilles. mm, I would take nothing from him. Love Achilles to death. But let me tell you why Abel. The traits I liked from Achilles, Abel had it plus some because of his banjo out. I would say it's because of the banjo out through Pepper. But Abel, like my Abel 2 dog, and I look at my Achilles 3 dog because I have Junior, then Achilles 3, and then I have Abel before Abel 2. And I'm like, man, Abel threw the traits, he threw the complete package. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at them
it's open.
and you do the math, it's simple math, man. Which one is producing what you want the best?
so you're saying
Same
that quarter
line.
banjo was it a quarter of banjo? Was it
Yeah, he's a quarter banjo, 3/4 Achilles. You know what I mean? His
okay? Yeah,
well, Able two is Abel was well, Achilles. Okay, let me break it down. Achilles is Rowdy, Grand Champion Rowdy. Uh, GC GCK is not Big Rowdy, but GCK is Grand Champion Rowdy and Grand Champion Spanky blend, right? So what happened was there was a double breeding on a dog bred off of both of them. We'll just go that way, make it simple. And so those dogs broke it down and came to that. And then with Abel, Pepper was off of Achilles. I'm not Achilles. Pepper was off of Rowdy and off of Spanky.
Spanky. Yeah,
Right. That's Grand Champion
that's what that
Spanky.
midnight cowgirl and stuff. All that.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then
Yep.
they bred that to GSK stuff, which put the banjo in. So it's really three. I say 3/4 McCollum's, 1/4 banjo. You know what I mean? And that
Yeah.
made Abel. And Abel was a little. It was perfect. And then when I bred Abel to his half sister, which made my Gaia and Abel 2 dogs, that put it at eighth of the banjo with all Achilles, you know what I mean? So when I say that I would choose
Top and
Abel
bottom. Yeah.
over Achilles, is not because of the difference, wasn't the difference of of the dog performance.
You want to bring all your clothes too?
It was the difference of what I need in the future. You know what I mean? I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So
But
so the heavy Achilles was in Able too.
yeah, Achilles, no, Achilles was Abel's dad. The bottom side was the out. But when
Yep.
I brought it back to the Achilles stuff, I'm telling you, it's like game over. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I ain't so much you can say, but when I brought it back to the Achilles, but that's what. If people ever sat back and looked at Randy's breeding program, because Randy didn't let dogs go to too many people, you know what I mean? But
Shit.
if you
Hell
look
no.
at his breeding program, Randy was a genius. And then you
Now
get
did he
Greasy.
breed Kodiak? That's Kodiak.
No, Kodiak, that's Panalero. That's mostly it has a little bit in, but that's all honey. That's why it just all makes sense the way we did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
But honey rum was she was White's tab, like she was tab up the ass, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
when and then what Pinalero did, and I love him for it.
Go get the laundry. I'm gonna go get my work clothes.
Okay, baby.
I'm gonna be back.
All right.
Yeah,
Got
you're gonna be right there.
So when Calero did that, he tightened up. Like when it comes to Kodiak Monster, Miracle Monster, like Panalero knew what he was doing. And then him being real tight friends with Randy made it make sense. And that's what made Achilles. That's what opened my eyes because I'm a Eli Jr. fan. You know what I mean? I don't know if the world know it, but Eli Jr. is probably the best dog in the world to me. But
Word.
I don't care. People say, but Eli Jr. and Art too. So, and that's the thing about it's got to focus on Art and Eli Jr. But when you get to looking at the pedigrees, if you look at my pedigrees, I know they're out there. You can look at them. You will see that I brought Greasy back into it because I just feel that's what Randy was trying to do. And I'm like, well, why would I default that? You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at his previous plans, he would take that out, make it work, and then he'll bring it back in. So, I mean, that's just what I focus on is, hey, hey, Randy was that that dude, if you ask me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not my personal mentor, my secondary mentor, just by things that go on. But that's
Yeah,
it,
well,
man.
he was definitely one of the best. With me, it's a little different. First, I established Big Red as a foundation,
Right,
so I utilize him with different females. At the same time, I'm looking for something to replace him with.
right,
So I had two of his sons. As far as the males, I had two of his sons, Champion Bill and Mr. Rowdy.
right.
And with the females, Sissy and Blondie, inbred daughters of Jeet. And then after that, what females am I looking for that best represent that? And I did it before the dogs were dead. I didn't wait till they got old or died or anything like that. I'm already
Damn
looking
right,
to,
Mr. Garcia.
yeah, to replace them while they're still alive. And the only way to do that is to breed them and find out. And by doing that, and I had the two females I just mentioned, Bambi and Champion K, and their mama Lucy. So that's where I kind of focused. And then Miss Rowdy, Big Red Sister, was in there a little bit. Champion Ninja was in there a little bit. It just allowed me to go forward with my breeding.
Mhm.
But that's kind of how I did it. So uh, in one of my pedigrees, I got 3 generations of Big Red. He's the sire, he's the grandsire, and he's the great grandsire. Within those
Yeah,
breedings, his sons are in there too, Bill and Mr. Rowdy. And at
that's
the same time, Sissy and Blondie are in there. Lucy's in there. Kay and Bambi are in there. So that's
that's
kind of
what
how I did my breeding. I'm looking to the future. What's going to replace the one I'm using now?
exactly, and that's why I shut up and listen when you talk, Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, yeah. You got to have that
That's
kind of foresight. And I've said this before. I have pedigrees written out generations in the future. If the dogs worked out, I filled in the blanks. If they didn't, I just threw the pedigree away. No
that.
harm, no foul. It
Oh
didn't
my
work.
God.
You guys want to get a
Yeah,
question in?
Yes,
yeah.
but
Let me
Mr.
see.
Before we get the question in, Mr. Garcia. That's why I'm your student because I'm telling you,
Yeah,
you just
Yeah.
yeah,
explaining me right now. It's like,
yeah,
oh, that's
yeah.
not.
Hey, go ahead and leave your questions down there. I'll star them. You gotta just go ahead and leave them questions. I'll star them. We'll get to them when we can get a little break in there. Monty Wallace, he says, have anybody had a litter of pups with two small dogs and they threw some big ass puppies? I did 45-pound female to a 38-pound male and got 11 and 11 and pups, uh, 60 to 80 pounds when they grew up.
First
Yeah.
off, I want to say I'm sorry you had 11 pups. That sounded hard, but but
Well, I'm gonna tell
but,
you, I'm
but
gonna
I'm
tell you,
gonna
a
throw it out
45
there
pound
too.
bitch, that's a recipe for a big ass dog right there.
Yeah, when
Yeah, it
but
is.
I'm gonna
It
tell you
is.
this, Buck. I did a 28-pound female with a 35-pound male, and one of the sons right now is a year old, and he's already 60 pounds. I
Oh
don't know how
wow.
that happened, but from history, because if you go back, I was like, I don't know how,
Yeah,
but
you look at the genetics. You look at,
yeah, I'm
he probably
like,
got some big
it's
dogs
just
in
a
there
freak.
somewhere.
The rest of them, they're no more than 40 pounds. But he just and I was like, I don't know what you feeding him, but you need to stop. I was like, you need to feed him. I don't know what you and
growth.
that's
Yeah,
just
growth.
and he's
Growth
not
pills.
fat. He's just a big dog, and I didn't know how it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
baffled.
You can get that variety, but generally your dogs are going to be a certain size, and it could be kind
Right.
of broad. Like most of my males were 37 to 45 pounds. Females were 31, 32, like that to 40 pounds. I never had a female over 40 pounds. So, but
Ever.
but within that, one of the ways to increase size is using a bigger female, even if the male is little, because in a lot of cases the females determine the size of the pup because she's bigger, so the pups are bigger. If she's smaller, the pups would be smaller. But that's not across the board. That's not always. The last litter I bred, the female was about 32 pounds, and she threw 42, 43-pound dogs. But
Right.
it's generally the average of your family. And if it's not if it goes outside the average of your family, then it's taken from something that's not in your family of dogs, but it's behind a particular dog. Something
Right.
big that's back there, or something small that's back there.
And
And
like
that,
60 pounds is heavy for him, but like looking at him,
yeah,
he's definitely really supposed to be about
yeah,
a 48. But people that just love their dog to death, they think
yeah,
that the bigger the better. And I'm like, yeah, well, just love him. That's what it
And
is.
there's nothing wrong with a dog carrying some weight nowadays too.
No, 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 no.
yeah,
In the north up here, we got to carry it. We can't streamline them all through the winter. Somebody's got to put on a little extra because
Right.
this the situation of weather kicks in. So we maybe we do a little extra beef fat in the bowl every now and then. A little weight don't hurt.
No,
But
no. That's
the
right,
regular
Wayne.
frame,
Wayne,
yeah,
Wayne. But I'm
yeah.
in El Paso, Texas. We got one weather. Hot.
hot.
We got one. I'm like, man, you need to trim some weight off that dog. You got that. But
The
people don't
yeah,
understand it. But I gave him to my brother, and my brother, he not a dog man at all. And what he
He gave him
thinks
love and
is the
taco.
fatter, the better. I was like,
yeah,
I see the diabetes in him, but
yeah, yeah. In El Paso, the jackrabbits have canteens. They wear tennis shoes and shit.
you
That's
know
how
what I'm
hot it is.
saying. I be
Yeah,
watching them. It'd be like, can I have some of that water?
yeah, yeah,
No paso. But
yeah,
yo,
yeah,
but I feel you win. Yeah, for winter, my dogs they gain 2 pounds, maybe three. But you know what I mean. But when it's summertime and the dog is overweight, that it doesn't matter. Why didn't you turn? Why did you do that? I'm on the.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
I think weight comes along with durability too. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes if a dog gets too frail, he you know, and I think you also when you talked about that with Hunter Man. You know, Big Will taught you about how we got to learn what the dog's regular weight is. What is the dog's
Yeah.
real weight? You know, because
Period.
sometimes
Right.
sometimes we forget that the genetics can fool us.
Right.
He looks 41, but he's 39. He's
Right.
38. And he feels better too. He looks better and he feels better, but our eyes will
Yeah.
fool us sometimes.
Yeah. So, and the best way to do that is to see them with different weight on them. So mine, I would see them with 4 or 5 pounds. Then I'd see them with 2 or 3 pounds over. Then I'd see them at weight. Then I'd see them below weight. And if you keep a dog, let's say you keep him a little under, he's going to get used to it. Most of them will. Some don't, but most of them, they'll get used to that weight. And as long as they have good nutrition and hydration, they become accustomed to that weight. And they may be a little weaker. So, okay, I'm going to bump it up a pound or two. To get a real accurate account, that's the only way to do it. But once you do enough of them over time, you pretty much guess what their weight's going to be. You're going to be real close. I used to trip out because old guys, they see a dog and, hey, what do you think he'll make? Oh, he's a 38. Oh, he's a 37. He's a 42. She's a 31. She's a 38, like that. And they would get it right most of the time because you just over a period of time, and when you're looking at dogs, you're referencing to something. And I did this in my group. I told people, put pictures up of your dog with a reference behind it, a car, your legs, a chair, something. And let's have everybody guess what the weight of the dog is. And not to brag, but I was the only one who was close on most of them. Some of them I got right on just from looking at a picture. That was a few years ago. I don't know if I could do it now, but you just kind of get the eye for it using that reference. What are their weights? Some people were way off. Some of them I was a half a pound off, and some of them I was right on weight. And that thread is still on there. Wouldn't know how to pop it up, but there was a ton of them. And some people they'd be spot on too. But you just over time you kind of get an idea because you're weighing your dogs all the time, or you should be, at different ages in their life, and you just look at them and go, okay. Sometimes you miss it, but most of the time you don't, and you just the guesstimate is real close because you do a bunch of them, you see a bunch of them, you have a bunch of them. And as far as the weight difference, back in the day it didn't matter because there was a weight for almost anything, from 28 pounds to catch weight, 58, 60, whatever it was. You could find something.
Facts.
Question. Casino Life Press. What bloodline throw tricolor mask other than Sorrel?
Oh, I got it. Can I answer first?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say anything can because out of my Achilles line, bred to some Stumpanado stuff, I have one named Woodstock, and I don't know where it came from, but he's turning out to be a good one. So I think anything could throw it. I think it's just in the background somewhere, and it just pops up when it wants to.
Yeah, there's a it has to be a certain uh color pattern, and the male and female have to carry certain things, so uh that has to be in them for it to come out. But a lot of the bully son dogs had that, Carver dogs, and that could be why the Sorrells dogs came out like that, because they had boomerang and they had different stuff in there.
Right.
Some Eli, right? So, but
And
it
I,
is,
and
if you look up how do you get a tricolored dog, it'll tell you give the little letters and all that stuff that, that produces that tricolor. So yeah, it could be in almost any bloodline, if they meet the criteria for that color pattern.
and don't
It's the
forget, we
thing
got a
that
lot of people out here that were fudging and doing all that other stuff. So
Yeah,
there are some dogs that they got
yeah,
mixed in, and who knows what happened, you know?
yeah. Well, again, back to the Sorrels. If his dogs were basically Corvino, starting out, they were basically Corvino dogs. And then he added, he had the Sorrels bull stuff, right? And he had all these other different dogs, and he had Shorty the Preacher, which nobody really knows how he's bred. I think some people do, but he's not. It's not like what it says on his papers. He's not bred that way. So that could be why that tricolor came out. Now he did have Miss Boomerang, but there's he owned Sosa Boy's Champion Bronco too, but I don't recall seeing Champion Bronco in his pedigree. Now that means two things: either he didn't breed them because he sold them to some guys in Australia, or he bred them and didn't tell nobody what he bred them to. So that fudging is all prevalent all through the breed, which is why you get, if you go scientifically and you look at it, you have this color of a dog, right, that comes out, and you go, and somebody knows the pedigree and they know how the dogs, what color they were in the pedigree. That's why they say the dog couldn't come out that color. There's something else in there. There's no way that could happen, according to science and color patterns and all that. Just like,
I'm just
it's been put around that you can't get a black nosed dog from two red nosed dogs. It's
very small
almost,
percentage, but
it's
it's possible.
almost impossible. Highly,
But
highly improbable. So,
yeah,
uh,
but
maybe the science
To
will
get a
show
black
different
nose, you
later,
said to get a
but
black nose out of two red noses.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
it can happen.
Yeah.
Just very unlikely that it'll happen often. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, he came out of nowhere. And I was like, yeah, send him to me.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know,
Oh,
hey
Yeah.
Buck, I think we talked about one of them colored dogs not too long back. I don't know if you remember that, but he came out of nowhere.
What? I was just thinking, man. He said two red
Yeah.
nose.
Yeah. Two red nose cannot throw a black nosed dog. If
That's
you
he
if you
got
have
me.
a
He
phone
got
there,
me
just
looking through my whole arsenal.
yeah, well, just look it up, and it'll give you the whys and what fors of why that can't happen. Just say, can you get a black nosed dog from two red nosed dog? Just punch that on Google, and it'll tell you how and why you can't and all that stuff. If you have an extra phone there.
To get back to Casino Life Prez, those Hammond dogs do a lot of that black and tan shit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those Maloney dogs do a lot of that. I'm not really sure exactly what's behind that Migos Santos dog, but I seen a lot of black and tans busting up out of there.
Yeah, and
And
that
yeah,
could
just
that
the
could be
Tonka
coming
Barrel.
from the Eli side. It could come from the Daibo side, because Tudor's Black Demon was black and tan. So those are from the Henry dogs. So you could even get that in staffs, because the staffs are kind of on the Henry side of the bloodlines. The Tacoma Jack and the Ruffian, that kind of stuff. You get a lot of Brindle, but and also the staff have Kobe in them. But if it has some Daibo, that's why the Maloney's did that. That's why the Hammond mostly is Daibo, through the Mayfield dogs, and then with some Bully Son in there. Then he had he had some Heinzel and some other stuff.
So
In
you
fact,
got
his
two
little
red
dog,
noses
Ted,
and
he
a
had a
black
dog
one.
named, he had a dog named Teddy, Hammond's Teddy. I saw him when I was at his house. He was like a little low 30-pound dog. He was black and tan. He looked like a little terrier with pointy ear. Didn't even look, he looked like a big Chihuahua. He didn't even look like a pit bull. So it's in there.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So if somebody got two red nose, they throw a black nose. There must be some fudging going on.
That, or like I said, I think we did. It was a hot topic over and over again a year or two ago, and people going back. You can't. Well, you research and research and research. What I got finally at the end, because most of the time saying no, it can't happen. No, it can't happen. It does not happen. Finally, at the end, they said it's highly improbable, but not impossible. So, what are the odds? 1 in 100,000, 1 in 10,000, something like that. It's a high number. But generally, it ain't going to happen. And it has to do with the alleles and they have those letters, small a, small b, and BB and all that. And they'll tell you why.
All that shit.
Yeah, all that stuff.
So if somebody's got a dog from Tatanka Kennels, we'd love to hear how your red-nosed dogs produce black nose dog. I just wanted to put that out there.
You can take you can take a red-nosed dog and breed it to a black-nosed dog, and you'll get a black-nosed dog. But you can't get it if both dogs are red-nosed. You can't get a black nose. That's what they're saying.
I've been looking down my Rolodex.
I just put a pedigree. Hey, Buck, I just put a pedigree in the background. This is Woodstock's pedigree. I don't know. I'm trying to find where he came from.
It ain't a working ped, though.
What do you mean?
You got to put the different link. It ain't working.
Oh, okay. I'm going to hit you with the number. Hold on. It's 892-232. I would like the schoolboy to find out where this nigga came from. But looking at the whole pedigree, I don't know how it happened. His brothers and sisters are all buck-skinned and black, and he just came out like that.
And what does he look like?
He's a black and tan. He's a tricolor, black, tan, and white.
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy had one like that from my stuff. Came out tricolor. And there's Carver in there. There's Eli. Not so much Carver, little tiny bit. Olio.
Yeah.
Very little.
He's all.
But I don't. Yeah, I'm just. I don't know. For me, they're kind of. Yeah, they're kind of off colored. Yeah, I can't really see the ped.
It's at the wrong spot.
But with that, it's just the mix of the colors.
Roman. Oh, that's like my brother. No.
Right? It's the mix of the colors why they come out that. That's why you could have a whole litter of black dogs and you got one chocolate. Well, chocolate comes from black. If you just look at paint, and I've said this before, I sound repetitive. To make the color black with paint, you need blue, yellow, and red. And if you mix blue and yellow and something else, and it makes gray, then you mix, I forget what color it is with gray, you get white. And it's all dark colors. You're putting these darker colors together, and you get white. And there's videos on it, but
okay. So maybe in biology we're looking at color wrong then, because maybe that tricolor is a pattern that's already on the dog, and then it turns a
It,
certain color.
it's yeah, it's a pattern like this. You have this color, and that color, and maybe another color in the background, and all those colors come out in one individual or two individuals in the litter, right? Like brindle. Look up how you make brindle. It's brown and red and something else that makes brindle. And within the brindle, you have different shades. It could be yellow brindle. It could be red brindle, black brindle,
orange. Yeah.
like that. So it's just a matter of how they come together. Now that anomaly, that could be a piece of shit, or it could be a great dog.
The scraps. That's the gene pool scraps.
It could be the one. You know, she was from my stuff and from my buddy. I never got one like that. He got like one like that, and she didn't work out. But that's not no indication. That's just one dog. She could have been. She was a good fighter. She just quit.
That's where the black
But
and
that's
tans
no.
coming from, right here. Ironhead, bro.
It's that iron head. Yeah.
Yeah. But see, and that's the other thing comes up, right? People saying, well, it's really Ironhead, really Ironhead. Well, how many dogs did Ironhead produce? Because not only does Ironhead have that, the Ed Crenshaw dogs have it. That's why he has it. Pistol had that Widow's Peak. Pistol Jr. had that Widow's Peak. The one that lost to Tater, I forget his name, Indian Sunny had the dog. He had that Widow's Peak. So it could be something within Carver that's not Ironhead. It could have been Cracker. Could have been Pistol. Could have been Pistol Jr. That throws that same look, that same build. They're real similar. It could have been the Kennard's Buck side.
Hey, do you think that Zeke did Klaus's Zeke, was he a try?
No, he
Or
was
did he
like a
have that
buck. He
widow's
was
peak?
either
He was buck and
no,
black, right?
yeah, Buck was black. Kennard's Buck was. I seen somebody put a video up, and they had the pedigree wrong for Satch and Satchmo Bully and Hunter Red and all that. They're off of Kennard's Buck. They're not off of Ironhead.
But that's what I was telling him, is that I don't know how you get the black and tans, because I got one out of, and Zoe's black. You know what I mean? But her background
Yeah,
really,
Nah, that Ironhead shit, that shit's popping back up. Period.
yeah, yeah. And
That
Arnhead,
yeah,
shit's popping back up.
it's a lot of stuff.
Arnhead is, I mean, they had those, like, this is what I say, because all the speculations, it doesn't matter now. Who cares? Like, if Honey Bunch was half Chihuahua, I would breed to her today if she was here. No, in
Yeah.
hindsight, you know what I mean? Who
Mm-hmm.
cares if they did it right or wrong, or if they fudged it or whatever? But going forward from what you have now, as long as you stay legit to your own plan, then it doesn't it doesn't matter. The history matters, but if the history is wrong, that doesn't matter. You just aim for what you're looking for. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're not
Yeah.
even going back that far, it doesn't matter. It's like the dogs that you're breeding off or the dogs that you want the traits from, they right in front of you, you know.
That that's fact.
So
Not
whoever's behind that, it clearly doesn't matter because you're breeding off of that dog.
exactly. Exactly. So I don't get into the arguments like a honey bunch was off Ironhead, not off Finley Bow or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't get into those arguments. I
Bully
just,
son. Yeah,
who
bully
Well,
cares?
you
son.
know,
Bully
well, we
son.
had that. I don't know if you remember Borderline, but I had that argument with Alvarado, and I said, well, Borderline got the best Niggerino dogs. Now, was I wrong saying that?
No, you're not, because they have nigga. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, and that's just me being me. I'm gonna be like, I got the best dogs in the world. So yes, I got the best nigga Reno dogs. I got that's just
Yeah,
me
yeah.
being me. But
Yeah, you gotta feel that way, or else why would you have them?
why
You know?
would I have them? I would shoot the whole. I would not shoot the whole yard. We're live.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would give
yeah,
away the whole yard and start over if I didn't feel that way.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
What do you drink?
What? I'm sorry. They talking in my. But
Yeah.
y'all are good.
Vodka?
But
And what?
the main point was that as we've come to the future, we have to bring the future breeders and everybody that we see right now. You, we're the people of the dogs. It's even though that we can give
Wing,
credit to the history, we still got to know that our
the
product
future
is
is the future.
exactly.
Hey, Wing, that's why I fuck with. Hey, Wing, wait till I send you this pet of what I got coming when we talk about Nicarino dogs. I put
They
it
know you
Yeah.
together
know.
right.
They know you
I
know.
I put it together right, Ween, and I'll be like, yo,
I,
this is what I need in the background to bring that niggerino back to the front. So
yeah,
I got
yeah. And some people get their feelings hurt because, see, I'm not a breeder. I put the work in. You put me in the right pieces, I put the work in. But a lot of people get their feelings hurt when they think they really been breeding and they haven't been, you know?
and I'd be like, oh, well, no, what are you doing? Oh, you just putting together pedigrees? Like, stop it. Let me teach you, please.
Connect
Let me,
Four
Yeah,
and shit. They
you
playing
know what I'm
Connect
saying?
Four.
It's like,
yeah,
so,
yeah,
Don't.
Man, look, this shit take passion. You
hey,
gotta love it. At
and
the end
that's,
of the
hey,
day,
and Buck, hey, from the day one, I seen your passion to the game. I seen you go through your controversy and all that. What I always tell you, just keep pushing. Yes, sir. Just keep
hey,
pushing.
got
You
to.
know what I mean? Because there's people out here that got your back, brother, and who we call it. Sacando el diablito. Okay. That means get the devil out of the bottle. For sure. Well, I'm about to take the devil out the bottle, Buck. Hold on. And then I'm gonna finish my conversation about you, Buck, because
He's on live all day.
because what I'm gonna
Salute,
tell
man.
you. All right, I'm good. I got the devil out the bottle. So what I'm gonna tell you, Buck, is that like, man, I hear all this bullshit going on, and you we again don't even pay them no mind, cause Buck, you doing what needs to be done for the betterment of the breed. You're putting people together that's making things happen. You know what I mean? We like country, rock,
I
rap.
like
Word
country.
Do
up,
you hear me?
word up.
No, but you don't hear me. But like really, I'd be like, yo, Buck is solid. And that's just me. I never met you, never shook your hand. Just knowing you as a person,
I like
you get so passionate when people talk shit. I'd be like, I feel it, but like, but just let them live. Man, fuck them.
But now
You
I
know what
won't
I'm
have no
saying?
fun then. I won't.
I
Then what I
know
would
it.
do?
I know it. You just
Then
like
what I
me. I'd be
what would I
like, no,
do
I want to
after
talk
that?
all this
Like what
shit.
would
I
I do?
gotta talk.
Let's be
I'm gonna
real
put.
though. Like okay, so we just gonna wake up and tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and play some classical music and shit and fucking
And be just
like bro.
chill. But Buck, you made it 30. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm
even
trying to kick some doors down too, man. My God.
but remember I text you. I was like, "What's going on with you and uh going hard?" I was like, nigga, just niggas just. This is what I say about about people that don't understand the future. This is what they do. If anybody's a threat to their past, they become a threat to their future. And I was like, man, I fuck with Buck. I tell everybody, nah, I fuck with Buck. You know what I'm saying? I don't jump on PBK shit because I got a lot to say about him. I don't jump on Chico. Well, my partner gets on Chico's ass, but I feel like it has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? About
Mm-mm.
the situation y'all got going on. But you know who I fuck with, period. And
And a
that's
lot
what
of and Borderland, you so right because a lot of people ain't experienced these levels, so they have no clue how deep Buck is in the game with his knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost it's almost like there's no way they can understand him sometimes. You
I'm
know,
gonna tell you,
even
like
even
people don't this Wayne, listen. people don't like. I've never been a national figure trying to like. I will never be on Going Hard's level while they were doing it. But I had my whole yard taken and I rebuilt it. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact. But what I'm saying is that people don't understand that because they live about the past is what made us. Like the past is what made us. But there's people, the real people that know me will be like, yeah, they're solid, borderland solid. They won't. And everybody that don't know me, who cares? I don't give a fuck if you don't know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that I'm not gonna broadcast. You will never see a Borderlands champion this or Borderland did this or Borderland did that or none of that. Because this is who's above the law? You know what I mean? So we handled it. Would you find it?
Yeah.
He does look like Gio's dad.
I know.
Yeah,
I
now
just
these
searched the
dudes
computer.
though, I be just slapping them up though. I don't want people to think like,
Yeah.
oh shit, fuck,
No,
you
you
know.
gonna slap him up. Hey, but
I
Buck,
just
what I'm
slap these
saying though,
dudes up for fun, bro. I'm telling you,
that
it's real life.
but I went through what you're going through now. I'm talking about now.
That shit's over though. That shit
Yeah,
was
that's what I'm saying. I went through what you went through.
yeah, cause
I forgot.
that shit seemed so long ago to me. Like I know
And,
the haters, it seemed like it was yesterday, and that's fine. But shit, nigga, didn't even have hair on my dick back then.
and every
You know?
day, I wish that I had your fucking balls because I was like, fuck it. My lawyer was like, you won the case, so now look, you could go after them, but they're gonna fuck with you. I'm not fucking with Texas, nigga. Fuck 'em. I could have went after them, but like they hit. It was ridiculous. Like I went through the whole. They talking about animal cruelty. You don't feed the dogs with pictures of my dogs with full bowls because they ate all they could. You know what I mean? So I felt you throughout the whole situation. I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm speaking on it now. And the puppy pictures, they hitting me up with names because somebody was snitching. Like, well, where's this dog? I was like, pick one. That's that dog. You know? It was crazy. But I on the back end, we'll talk about that. But like, that's why when I seen you had went through it, we're gonna ride it. I'm gonna ride with you, baby. You know what I mean?
Hey
And
man,
and when they be
that's what it
fucking
is.
with you, Buck, I be like, nigga, fuck it. But when
Yeah,
you
nah,
be
come on. Hey, as
fucking
long
with
as
them,
they keep promoting, just keep promoting, goddamn.
that's it,
Keep
nigga.
promoting.
That's why we was running that whole. Hey, big up, Buck. Train today on the money, nigga. Yeah,
Oh
because
man, it was a money train
hey,
today.
you was
Hey, that
killing
was
them, nigga.
beautiful. That was
I was,
beautiful.
I was like, fuck it, nigga. What shit? I had another 10. I had another 5. Whatever. Fuck it.
Support. Hey,
Let's
that's what
ride
it
that
is.
nigga. Hey, because not only are you doing the shit, but you fucking nigga, you trying to do something different with the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what makes it important. Is that it's more than us. It's the breed. For me, it's the pit bulls. When they tell me you can't own a pit bull in Texas, I was like, that's what I'm suing Texas for. And they was like, we can't take dogs from him. All right, bet. Because I won the case. That you can't tell me I can't have a dog after I win the case.
She's mine. I
Yeah.
just got through a corona.
Yeah, each state they try to play their little games, you know. You know, it is what it is. I wish one day they just
Look.
do their real investigation and quit harassing people for little shit, you know?
Hey, and that's what it's about. But it's all about us coming together, though. That's what I want to say while I'm on your platform. Hey, if we come together, they can't fuck with us.
Nah, hell no.
Patrick Mahomes sucks. I hate him. I'm a 49er fan. I'm sorry.
Like I said, man, you know, I ain't trying to act like the shit was just little, but you know, if a motherfucker would have got caught with a whole bunch of bricks and shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, hey, that's cool, you know.
Get out of.
No, but that's the thing though. Like, I realized it was about like that's what they want. They want to tie drugs to the game just because who my godfather is or whatever. I was like, nigga, that hasn't. But that's what they thought, and they couldn't get nothing from it, so case got dropped. And that's what I'm saying. The dogs is a part of life, Buck, and I appreciate you for fighting for that life
I do smoke. I
because we have the life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, we could fight too. We don't have to
And that's
seem
it, man.
like
We rock
defenseless.
with the best of them,
Yeah,
and
you
that's
could
the
fight
thing.
these motherfuckers. Don't think like, of course, you know, have your bag ready, but you could fight
Yeah,
these motherfuckers, man.
that's what I'm saying. But I had to. You had the bag ready for a better purpose because I had the bag ready. Stay free. Get me, make sure it's free. Okay, they gonna take. I don't give a fuck. They can take the dogs. I'll build it again. But you was on a better purpose, nigga. And that's why I fuck with you so tough. And I
Well,
tell
it's
everybody.
kind of like, okay, so you bash me this way, and then I straightened shit up and just got shit just stupid pristine,
I
and then
tell.
you still come with the same bullshit. That's kind of wrong, in my opinion. But hey, it is what it is. Fuck them. I bet you I'm gonna be more successful than any of them motherfuckers. I told dude to his fucking face. I said, dude, you a fucking punk. You know, I let him know in his motherfucking face. You a fucking punk. You sitting back watching YouTube and shit, just sitting back, dude. You a fucking fan, you little fucking punk. And he couldn't do shit, but look like a punk.
My name's
You know
not.
what I'm saying?
That's cause you're a G, my nigga. Yeah,
Fuck them. Fuck them.
fuck them off.
You know, I
You've
come from
been
a whole
telling me
hood
all day.
full of G's, you know. So
Hey man,
it is what it is. I'm
I
just one
been
of them.
everybody. I be like, you got you. I be like, yo, no, nigga, fuck fighting the system. I'm with him. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, fuck them. They lie. They lie. And
But
I'm
I
gonna be
listen
bringing
to
shit
you
up. Like
talk.
this shit gonna be funny. Like when I be bringing this shit up, you know, I'm gonna be. It's gonna be like the last one I did about the boy with the talk about the pellet gun and shit, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nigga, you lying, nigga. The
But
fuck,
let me
nigga.
tell you, but like when the last time cause they come visit my yard often, and they be like, all right, you got everything under control. But that was before I moved out of the city. Now I'm outside the city. I got me a little bit of land, whatever. But I was listening to you when you was saying like, "Yo, don't let them in." So I was like, "No, you can't come in." They was like, "All right, well, everything good." I was like, "Yeah, everything good." You know what I mean? But that was before I bought the land outside the city. But that was from listening to you understanding the game. Don't gotta let
Right.
them in or listen to them. I don't want to hear you talk. Shut the fuck up. Charge me if you're gonna charge me, or get the fuck off my
Yeah, yeah,
property.
for real,
Period.
bro. I'm telling you, dog.
And
I'm
that's how I
telling you.
treat them now.
Thank
But that's
me, hey,
because I'm
thank me
like, hey,
later, dog. I'm telling you.
I'm thanking you now, nigga, because they off the they. Bitch, shut up. What you got a warrant? Then shut the fuck up and get off of
Right.
me.
Get the
Hey,
fuck out
hey,
of
you
here.
can't come in here. Get the fuck out of here. This is my
Only
property.
only way they could do something is if there's somewhere that they could see onto your property. You
But
do
no,
not
listen
have
to
to
this.
let them on your property. That's your right.
No, listen to this, Buck. I'm in Texas. That's in Cali, our work. In Texas, bitch, get out of here. They gotta leave. You know what I'm saying? You got probable cause? Then no, get the fuck out of here. And their probable cause has to be valid. Let me see. The judge said that you have probable cause. Texas, we own.
So you
I'm
let them
just
you let them breach that property and they're gonna
at
make up
all.
any damn
They
thing.
can't come inside the gate. I put my private. They said you don't have private property signs. Tomorrow, private property signs was up. Okay, this is private property. You can't come in here.
Yeah.
Texas is
Well, it's
tough
real
that way.
easy. Just say, just say, yeah, I'll get a hold of my lawyer, and you can get a hold of my lawyer and schedule a time to come back.
That's it. But you see my setup. They can come in if they want to, but my shit is clean. But no, not gonna happen. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no,
tell
it
you.
ain't. It
I'm not
just like if you're not doing shit and the police ask you to search your car, like you don't have to say yes. They ask you. They ask you a question. See, people are so intimidated by the police.
right. But let me tell
That's
you,
what it
like,
is.
I want to say this for all the people out there in Texas. If you're on parole in Texas, you can't say no because if they look it up and you're on parole, they can do it. But
Yeah, that's anywhere. That's
yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They,
yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. But if you're not and you're good, you're good. But so the reason I say that is don't do dumb shit if you're on parole because I'm still on parole. So
Yeah,
don't do dumb shit if you're on parole. Because they
yeah,
can.
And there's a way to play, and there's a way to get caught playing, and there's a way that you can talk to all of us outside of this internet. You know, everybody remember this is all entertainment. You know, but there is a real life going on. So you know, this is some information that everybody should be listening about.
Straight up.
I get
yeah.
you pull up this. But I'll do the bullshit.
It's just unreasonable the type of shit that they do
You know what I mean? That's
when
what
it
starts
comes to the dogs.
so
So
like I'm on
we
every
can't be at mercy. Like they don't do other situations like that. You know,
That's right.
some
Yeah,
dinner.
in most cases, if you fight that shit like my shit, let's say I would have won. Let's say I would have won.
Different
The dogs was already gone, brother.
you know.
I wasn't fighting for nothing.
Better because
I was only fighting to keep my freedom. I had nothing to gain.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? It ain't like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I would have won, I would have got all my dogs back and shit. You know,
No, they already killed my dogs.
they
But
killed my shit.
yeah, my lawyer was like, we could go after them for the dogs and the price of the dogs, but Texas is gonna fuck with you because that's what Texas is. I took his word for it as a lawyer, and I didn't want that drama. I was like,
They fuck with me. See, I'm gonna have them cameras.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
This
have
is
that camera.
2024 now. I'm talking about in 1996.
I'm gonna make that hat with the with the ball on top that records
Everything.
360.
Hell yeah. Everything
It's
is
gonna be
recorded.
on my beanie, bro, and that motherfucker just gonna be glistening right on the top of my head everywhere I go. Fuck y'all. Do what you want to do, motherfucker. You on tape, bitch. Following me, harassing me, all that shit. You know,
That makes all three of my kids birthdays.
But that's
I'm
what I'm
exposing these motherfuckers. Fuck them. You know, it is what it is.
fuck them.
I don't give a fuck, bro. You know,
Yeah, they like at the time I thought they took everything I had, but they took everything I thought I had because it's always rebuildable, and that's what
man. Look,
one of
man.
my
If they
little
didn't take
cousins
your
said.
mind, they didn't take your
Yeah, you
mind. They
didn't
didn't take
take
your heart. They didn't take your drive.
exactly.
You
You
ain't
just took
lost
some
nothing, bro.
dogs. You think I can't do this again? You know?
Now, the thing is, what I've been talking about the whole time. You always got to keep a couple pups here or there, just
And
to
you told me why you. Hey,
just
let
for
me
the
tell you.
rebuild, bro. You gotta do that, dog. It don't matter how money hungry you are. It don't matter. It matters that you keep the bloodline going,
And
dog. That's
that's
what's
the
more important.
problem. What I did back in the day, because we're talking 96, 98. Really, there was no freezing semen. There was, but it really wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't do none of that. And that was the problem is that I didn't let nobody have anything off the yard. Everything born on my yard gonna die on my yard. It was my mentality now. So I mean, was my mentality then, but my mentality now is like, if you want, hey man, if I fuck with you, here, hold this one. Fuck with that. I don't sell dogs, but I'll put one on a good yard in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Just because
Mhm.
I've been through it, what you've been through. You know what I mean? But I didn't have the resources. I didn't think about resources to keep them. But that note, I'm gonna sell the whole world that you put me on to some new shit. Now I got frozen semen in my garage. That's what it
Yeah,
is. I
nah, that's
already
the shit.
built it. I did. that's because of that conversation we had that day about why freeze it, and you was like, because what if something happens and you don't have it no more? I was, so I went in. Now I freeze it myself. I don't have to
Yeah,
go
nah. If
to
it's somebody that's that important, like my mic shit, you know, I could pop
yeah.
out 10 years from now and get it 2 litters or something. You know what I'm saying? Just like some sacred shit that nobody knows about or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Like,
it's for personal use only.
you're the
You know.
only one with lucky. I'm sorry. I'm listening though, but I'm drinking at the same time. Sorry, I'm drunk. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's good.
Oh,
I
Hey,
really?
y'all, it was an honor to be on the panel. You know, Mr. Garcia,
oh my
Borderland,
God.
the commissioner, Buck City APPT Radio. Y'all, I got to get back to it, man.
I
Chat,
love y'all
All
too.
right,
glad
I
y'all
brother.
gotta get
stopped through.
gone too, but I wanna say this before you leave, Wing. Hey, I fuck with y'all the long way. Wing, holla at me. I got before you coming. So just holla
Yep,
at
I'm gonna be down there probably the end of October. We already know it's already gonna happen. It's written, you know.
me. You're
It's
in the
written.
book
We just run it. We gonna run the right script.
already, brother.
All right,
All right,
brother. Take
appreciate it.
care.
Appreciate it, Buck City.
So, love y'all. One.
One.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, you know how we do, man. It was a good stream. It was a good stream. We got it in 2 hours. Bulldog Sunday. Hey, appreciate everybody.
All right. Thanks for having me on again. Respect to
Oh
the
yeah.
panel and the chat. I'm gonna get out here. Get
Oh yeah.
ready for
Appreciate you,
tomorrow.
schoolboy.
All right, brother. Take care. Peace out, everybody.
All right, buddy. Yes, sir. Buck City Kennels. Hey, you know, another one, another good one, good, healthy one. Had a bunch of brothers on the panel. We chopping it up. Hey, appreciate everybody asking those questions. Most of all, appreciate all that support earlier. That hey, we need that support is definitely going to a good cause because I'm always be here fighting for us in the community on a daily. You know, ain't no days off in my book. You know what I'm saying? RKBB in the building. Salute, man. Everybody that pulled up, man. There was a bunch of you to name you all, but you know how it go. We always gotta dip out. Let me see. Let me get one. Let me see. I know I got some heat. I know I got some heat for y'all. Here we go. Peace out.
Live too fast, ain't no such thing too fast.
Drop too fast, move too fast, live too fast, ain't no such thing as too fast.
Money's always on my mind, so I'ma get it. And if it makes sense, then you know I'm down with it. Cause people say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast, ain't no such thing as too fast. I got it coming in like Usain Bolt. You want that dope? You gon' get what you pay for. Telling me I move fast, but I think you move slow. Time waits for no man. Gotta get that new dough. Just dropped off the last batch, I got a new loaf. Had to double back cause he called and needed 2 more. Maybe I be driving too fast for that quad. It's coming in too fast, I pray it don't stop. Cause I was on the bottom, gotta climb to the top. Used to rock hand-me-downs, now I'm handy on the block. I came up off the rock like Sean. I'm a whole lobster, y'all prawns. You fucking with a king, y'all ponds. And for that 25, you get that Barry Bonds. Cause people say I drive too fast, yeah, too fast, live too fast, ain't no such thing as too fast. Money's always on my mind, so I'ma get it. And if it makes sense, then you know I'm down with it. Cause people say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast, ain't no such thing as too fast. I got it coming in like Usain Bolt. You want that dope? You gon' get what you pay for. Hey, move bitch, get up out my way like Luda. Carpool lane by myself for the Gouda. One twitch, you could get black by a shooter. Real fast, come up in your house like an intruder. Drive 110 in the 60. Hand over that money first, you ain't about to jit me. Gotta keep that blick on my lap cause it get tricky. Keep both eyes open in these streets cause it get iffy. I need them blue avatars. Nigga, what you travel for? I was moving fast, shopping in that travel lodge. Or that days in, waiting till them days in. I'm blessed I made it this far, this shit's amazing. But people say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast. Money's always on my mind, so I'ma get it. And if it makes sense, then you know I'm down with it. Cause people say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast. I got it coming in like Usain Bolt. You want that dope? You gon' get what you pay for.
Yeah, drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast.
Drop fast, move too live too fast. Ain't no such thing too fast. Drop fast, move too live too fast. Ain't no such thing.